Okay, what I'm doing here is taking off the 3 screws that go to the electronic choke, and I'm going to start disassembling the carburetor, taking out all the top screws so I can separate the bottom half from the top half. Now what I'm doing, I'm removing the fuel inlet, which has the filter in it, and you can see the filter comes right out, and we'll just replace it with a new one. What I'm doing here, I'm separating the throttle lever from the lower half to the upper half, so we'll be able to separate them. Then you want to take out the accelerator pump spring, and then there's a clip in there that holds down a screen, and underneath that screen is an aluminum ball. Then you want to remove your float and then your needle and seat assembly from the carburetor. What I'm doing now is removing the accelerator pump because we're going to put a new one in there. Now you want to go ahead and remove the other screws that are holding your electric choke on to get that off of the assembly. Next thing you want to do is remove your venturi cluster, and there's 3 screws on there, and the one screw in the middle that has less, or doesn't have any threading towards the head, and it's also got a washer and a gasket on there, so that's how you know the difference between the 3 screws, and the different one goes right in the center. What I'm doing here is removing the power valve, and the next thing you want to do is remove the 2 main jets. Now you want to go ahead and try and remove the T. It might be peened in there, so you might have to bend it around, use needle nose pliers, or whatever you can to pull it up out of there. But it's a T that holds a spring down and a steel ball underneath that. Now what I'm doing, I'm removing the idle mixture screw and spring. Now you want to separate the throttle body by what I'm doing now, I'm going to put everything in the parts cleaner and then let it sit overnight and then finish cleaning it the next day. So these are for your main jets. Next thing, we want to replace the washer on the power valve. We'll put that in. So we'll take the old washer off. The new one on. Got the new one on, so we'll go ahead and put that in. Okay, so now we want to put our main discharge ball, spring, and T back in here. You want to make sure that you put the steel ball in here, and the way to find out if it's the steel ball is to get a magnet, because you got two of them here. You got that ball there and you got that ball there, and you want the steel one in there. So, and this is a magnetic tip, so just take a magnet, see which one's magnetic. See that one? That's the steel one right here. See how it kind of sticks to it? See? And that's in that one there. So you want to put that ball in there. And another reason why you put the steel one in here is because you're going to put the other one in here, the aluminum one, because when the gas is in here, it's a lot easier for the gas to move the aluminum ball than the steel ball. So you're going to put the steel ball right in there. If I get it to go in. Okay, it's in there now. And then you want to put your spring and T in there. Let's give it a little tap just to get it to stay in there. So now that's in there. You just need that to hold that in there. Okay, so once we get that in, the next thing we want to do is get our gasket, and this here, you got to make sure that you clean it out really good. You got to blow all these holes out here, clean it out, because that's where, you know, your main fuel is going to be coming out of and everything. You want to make sure this is nice and cleaned out. And then you got your gasket, and you can put your gasket on. That just goes on there like that. And then you're going to want to put this in here. And that just seats down in there just like that. And you got your 3 screws you got to put in. Now remember, these are your 3 screws, and then this one, doesn't have the threading up on top there, and this is the one you want to put your gasket and washer on, which is going to go in the center there. And the gasket for this is right here in this pack. Okay, so we want to put the washer on first, and then the gasket. And that's going to go right in the middle here. Okay, so now you got that on there with the gasket and the washer, and you got those two tightened up. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is go ahead and get the needle in there. And it comes with a spring-loaded one and a regular one, non-spring. We're going to use the non-spring because on turns and stuff you can lose power and stuff like that. It'll slow down. Might almost like feel like it's stalling out with the spring in there, the way that it is with the float. So here's the new one. They say to give the tip a spray and then wipe it off until there's no black coming off. Little carb cleaner on there, just to get the initial gunk off of there. You can see just a little bit black came off on there. So, and then there's a spring in there, but we're not going to use the spring. We're not using the spring, we're just going to use the solid piece here. And then that's going to go right in there. Now we got our float on. And we'll have to do some measurements on there to make sure it's at the correct position. Okay, so the next thing we want to do, we want to put these two washers back on this. And you can see there's a flat spot here. And you want to get this in here. And you want to position it. It's going to fit in here only one way. If I can get it, because you can see there's a flat spot on here and it's rounded, so you want to get that to match up with this. So basically you want the flat part on the bottom and it'll slide through, and then you're going to tighten this nut up. Okay, once you got that on there, go ahead and tighten this back up. Okay. So that's back on there now. Okay, so next thing we want to do is attach these two pieces, and you got your new gasket here. Make sure it lines up with everything. So that's attached again. And this moves freely, it's not being blocked up on anything. Okay, so now we're going to put back on the electric choke, and there's a little gasket that goes there. This piece back in, and once again it can only go a certain way. Now we can put the plate back on. Okay, so we got that back on there now, and you may need to adjust it depending on how it heats up. Because what this does, this heats this up, and this will open, and it'll open up like that, and that's how you start it. The boat won't start if it's closed. And what this does, this heats it up and moves this so it opens up so you can start. And here's the new one. That just simply goes in there like that, and then your washer goes around that right there. So that goes in there, and then this goes in there. Alright, then you got your idle mixture screw. This is a new one. Don't forget your spring. Goes on there like that. And you're going to put it in. You're going to put it in. Don't wrench it down until it gets tight. Then you're going to back off 2 turns. Half. whole, half, whole. And then you'll have to adjust it from there. I mean, once you get it on and get it running, you'll see what it is at idle, and you'll have to mess with it then. But that's how you put that on. Okay, so one thing I'd like to point out is this is the kit that I ordered, the rebuild kit. And it came with this accelerator pump, which is the wrong one for mine. This is the old one. It was a straight one, so I had to order that separately. And it also didn't come with a new float, which I also had to order, and also the screen. It came with the replacement ball, but it didn't come with these as well. And the old screen that I had in there was all junk, so I went ahead and ordered this as well. So those are the parts that I had to order separately, which didn't come with the kit. So just so you're aware that it's not a complete kit, which it's supposed to be. And when you got this all open, you really want to replace all that stuff. So got the new ones in, and with the float, I also wanted to mention that. Okay, also with the float, I wanted to mention your instruction manual will actually show you. You gotta look up to see which engine you have, and like for instance, mine's the 3-liter 140, and it's showing that, okay, for mine it shows like the float level needs to be like 10 millimeters, because I'm doing the solid needle, not the spring, and then my float drop should be 27 millimeters. And the way that you do that is you measure with the gasket on. There's a little nipple right here, and that's what you're going to measure from down to the gasket, and that should be right around 10 millimeters. So you put that right up against there, and then you check it. I gotta do a little bit of adjustment here, but this is just to show you how to to go ahead and measure that. And then the float drop, you hold it upside down, and same thing, you're gonna measure from the gasket all the way down to that nipple there, and I think that was 27. So that's right around there. I just gotta do a tiniest bit of adjustment. So that's how you adjust your float level. And like I said, you got your, just gotta find out what engine or what carburetor you have, and go off this sheet, because that'll give you your specs for it. And then also shows you on here how to measure, with your float level, float drop, and the same thing for your electric choke. Like as you can see, they want you to 1 over on your electric choke, which you can see where I got mine. I got it 1 over. I mean, you may have to do some adjustments once you get it on, but at least this will get it started, so then you can make your adjustments from there. Okay, so these are the 3 pieces you're going to need that go inside where your accelerator pump goes. And so they're going to go right in here. So this is the aluminum ball too, because don't forget the steel ball went in here where that T is. So the aluminum ball will go in here. So you drop that in. I don't know if you could see it or not. It's kind of tough, but that's right down in the center. And then you want to put your screen in, and then you're going to go ahead and put this piece in to lock it down in there. We're going to go ahead and put our spring back in. Goes in there like that. this goes together. And remember, there was one longer screw than other. That's this one right here. That's the one that's going to go right there. And then another good thing is your paper here will actually show you how to tighten it up in the order. So alright, so now we have that all back together. This is how you rebuild a Mercruiser carburetor. And like I said, once you get into everything and once you start, you get it back on, this will make it start up the way it's set up right now. And then you just have to do some fine-tune adjustments to that. Once you get it going, let it idle. Then you have, mess with your idle mixture screw. The 2 turns out is just to get it so it starts up and gets going. And I mean, you just have to recheck your stuff and tune it to where you want it and where it's sounds good to you. So, all right, hope you guys enjoy, subscribe. Mercruiser carburetor rebuild. All right, see you guys in the next one. Make sure to like and subscribe. Bye.